got our little holding fixture, and I got the back tire jacked up where it'll move. Of course, it's in neutral. Got my weight on this little plate here, a couple of vice grips holding it down. So really, my goal here is to hardly do with one hand, but just get that thing up on there like this. Now it's pinned in there pretty good, so I'll get my bolts, come from the back side, get her fastened down. There you go, got the bolts in. Square parts lined up. Alright, just gonna snug them up a bit. There we go. And we can take the tension off this right here. And back it out. And get the other two in. That's about all there is to it with this little old deal. About as safe a way as I can figure to do it. Alright, there you go. Now the other side's a little bit different. To keep from taking the wheel off, I got to turn the wheel all the way to the bottom and put a bolt through it. So I'm going to jack it up, turn the wheel all the way to the bottom, put my second bolt in down there, and then I'm going to turn the two bolts to the top and then do the same thing. And then I'm going to have to take the holding fixture out, rotate it around, put the other bolts in, because I've got to have two empty holes to use this little fixture of mine. All right, let me get that other weight on the hand trucks and get them in here. Now, to me, that's the hardest part. I just don't like messing with these weights. I just feel like I'm in there with a mashed finger. But anyways, I am trying not to, that's for sure. Something else I'd throw in there, my little old handy dandy bracket. It even works good for us helping you move. When you slide that there and roll it back, it comes along in there pretty easy. I'm gonna bring this on down. And I don't know how I'm gonna do this or not. Let's see. And then there you go. I just roll it around there, set it on top of it, clamp it down. And use my little jack that picks it up. And then just take it around here. Navigate it around. Now, one thing I do see is I got a tight space. I'm gonna need to move maybe a little vacuum cleaner and that transmission out of my way. Anyways, yeah, that's what I gotta do. All right, there we go. Now we gotta make sure these things are aligned flat with the concrete. May still be off a little bit, but I think I can maneuver it in there. There you go. I'm gonna wiggle this thing a little while. And we got those in place. Rotate this around to the bottom. There they go. Yeah, that's good. There you go. They're on both sides now. Alright, that'll do till I decide to take them back off and paint the old tractor. I don't know if that's what I'm going to do or not, but it's crossed my mind. I'll set the jack down and get it out from under. Tell you what, that's simple yet handy. But you gotta have a jack like this where anybody could do it. And I bought it a long time ago for picking transmissions up. It's getting hurting my back. And it's been about a handy little things I've ever had around here. Hey, sometimes I'll use it for like a little work table. I'll just roll over next to what I'm working on and run up whatever height I want and use it for a little workbench. All right, that's two pieces that are out of the way now. I reckon my next goal is I got these parts and pieces laying around here, which actually go to the transmission, and then I got a couple of Toyota axles there. Got a handful of parts over here under the bench. I think I'm gonna throw those on a pallet, carry them around there and put them in the shed. Except for my little washer right there. This needs to go up under my toolbox here. And I may go over and just sit down and sort through some of these bolts and get rid of as many of them as possible. I don't know how many of y'all are like me, but I hang on to farm-all bolts. You know, me and another guy was talking about farm-all bolts and such as that. And if I can reuse the original bolt, I will. Now, this is a rusty old ragged thing and ain't no good. I'm not going to. But you'll find that a lot of these little farm-all bolts are like it right there. Got a little tab in the middle of them. And some of them are countersink. I don't know if anything distinguishes those from others, but I hang on to them because they're little short carriage bolts. Some of the bigger ones are kind of like that. I don't know if it's a replacement bolt or not, but I hang on to these things. I do. If I can use a good, a good farm-all bolt in the hole, I do. And I don't know. I don't know if that adds any value to anything, but I know some people, they restore something, the first thing they do is replace all the nuts and bolts. Well, that might be all right on some situations, but I save as many of them as possible. I don't know how many of you guys are like that, but that's just the way I go at it. I mean, I ain't worried about it if I can't, but if I can, I will. I'm not gonna lose any sleep. I'm not gonna go online and try to order genuine international harvester bolts. I mean, hey, look at the 140. It's just got some old grade 5 bolts that I got on a nut and bolt bin over there. That's what I had. But now I say that. Now I got one bucket over there that's got some of these little 5/16 bolts in it with a little pin head on top of it. So hey, guess what? I might go get them. put a little red paint on top of them, put them in those holes. Just kind of the way I roll. Anyways, that's a little short video. I'm just gonna move some stuff around the rest of the day, sweep up a little bit more, and I create square feet when I do that. I'm in a little 40 by 40 shop, and it's a nice shop. It's fairly well equipped. If y'all have looked around, I mean, I got some, a bench over there I use for, you know, if I'm working on the transmission, I want a cleaner bench. I still fix an automatic transmission or two every once in a while for maybe a buggy or something, or mine or my son's. I don't work for the public anymore. You know, maybe a real good friend of mine, you know, might need some help. I'll help them out. I just kind of enjoy working on these little farm models right now. I'd like to, you know, I like old tractors, period. I mean, I grew up on a 53 Jubilee. Have been an old farmer for a bunch of years. From the time I was 14 to I was 17. This started out picking produce the first 2 seasons, and the 3rd season I was there with him. I was running I turned the fields and disced the fields, and I never planted. He always run the planter, and we ever done hay, he always run the baler. Yeah, I could rake, you know, of course, you know, bale hay, load hay, stuff like that. But he always run the baler. It was a pretty sensitive little old piece of equipment, and he felt like it's the best place for him to be. And he had about, if I were to guess, anywhere from 8 to 1,200 acres we were doing every year. You know, and we're kind of a hilly area out here. I mean, it's not flat where I'm at. And I wouldn't say it was mountainous, but, you know, everything he done was 40, maybe 80 acre fields. I can think of one field, might have been a fuzz bit bigger than that. Might have been 120 acres. I kind of doubt it. And we just had them all over the place. Wasn't all in one place either. He had cows, had pigs. I think that's all the livestock he had. I know he didn't fool with chickens. I know he didn't have anything else, you know, like goats or anything like that. But he did have pigs. He had hundreds of heads of cattle. He probably had 300 to 500 head of cattle at any given time. So I got to work around the farm a good bit when I was a kid. Now, my dad, Mom, they just always grew a nice low garden there behind the field. Before I was born, or I will say the first 4 or 5 years of my life, I remember it vaguely, but was nowhere near a part of it. Daddy had 2 40-acre fields, and he grew watermelons in them and corn. And one big old field was watermelons, and the other field was corn. He'd swap them back and forth, and he sowed watermelons. And he grew corn for the cows. We probably had maybe 35, 40 head cows. Now, when I grew up, everybody had cows. I mean, you could just ride down Old Bradford Road, and there was, you know, Mr. Thomas had 40, 50 head of cow out there. You know, Daddy had 40, 50. Mr. Fawcett did. I mean, you know, Lord, I could just go on and on. You know, Mr. Wilson over there, you know, he probably had a couple of hundred head. He had a pretty good bit of land. Also, the one had the feed mill around here. I mean, the Mother Hills. I mean, I could go on and all the people in our community that had cows and produce every year and worked full-time jobs. Now, just about without exception, every one of those fields that I'm talking about now are subdivisions. And you get further north, up in a different county, Blount County, there's still there's maybe a handful of people up there that's farming. Most of them are doing it as a hobby, just want some cows. You know, they're retired, or basically you'd say independently wealthy, and that's what they want to do. Which I follow a lot of people on YouTube, And you see that's the case in a lot of situations. I mean, you know from the money they spend that, you know, they don't have to be raising cows or growing gardens or anything. I mean, they're financially sufficient. I mean, they could put them a store big as a Dollar General in their backyard and keep it fully stocked and you know, but you know, it's what we want to do. You know, it's what other guys that's got these YouTube channels want to do. Of all the ones I follow, I would probably say maybe one of them is doing it to pay their bills. I mean, they're trying to stay afloat. They're a business. It's what they've been doing for a generation or two. But 90% of the ones you follow, you know, it's just a hobby. And, you know, it's me. I'm just old and kind of retired. I wouldn't say I'm definitely not independently wealthy. I'm about as broke as a fella can get right now. But I'm enjoying it for this season that it is. It all changes. It all changes in a split second sometimes. September the 11th, I believe it was. I guess you'd say probably my very best friend in this world passed away. Just died suddenly. He's a local pastor of church here. I'd known him for 40 years. Good guy. I'd known him as a friend. He wasn't even my pastor. I didn't go to his church, but he was just a good friend of mine, somebody I talked to probably every week. Just became unresponsive, had a heart attack, and passed away. 65 years old. Philip was his name. And I have to say, I miss the old boy. But hey, you know, we'll all go that way. One of the guys I used to follow on here a long time ago was an old boy named the Alabama Gardener. Had a good little gardening show. I liked him. He was a good Christian guy. A little bit kooky. He done a little bit of cooking stuff. I don't think I ever ate anything he cooked that I liked. I tried a couple of his recipes because they seemed quick and easy, but I don't think I ever ate anything his I liked. But I liked him, you know, I just liked him. But he passed away 2020, maybe 2021, something like that. I didn't know him personally. He was just somebody I liked. But anyways, don't take life for granted. Try to enjoy the moments. Try to be at peace with everybody. This world's changing, and it's changing quick. I'm getting old. I'm 60, be 62 my next birthday. Not in the best of health. Got a lot of problems. I'm about like one of these old tractors. There's a lot wore out on me. I'm trying to make the best of each day. But we'll just see how it goes. Take it a day at a time. I enjoyed the day. Gonna head up the house in a little bit after I get through moving stuff around. Relax a little bit, cook us a little supper. Watch a movie. We don't have cable or internet or none of that stuff. So everything we do, even downloading these videos, I gotta do it with the data off my phone. So it's very, very slow. But I'll try to get this downloaded, and thanks for spending a little bit of time with me today. I do appreciate everybody that's watching my channel. We're getting close to about 100 viewers, which is, you know, nothing in the whole scheme of things. I mean, some people got 60, 70, 80, 600, 700, 800 and million followers. I don't know what that'd even be like. Especially if I tried to respond to all the comments. But everybody so far has been you know, they've been real polite about stuff. I haven't had too many people make very derogatory comments. And you know, so let me get busy, get some stuff moved around, and we will shoot another video in a day or two.